Hello folks, I'm Toby Walker and going to be doing a blues guitar lesson, finger picking blues guitar lesson. Today we're going to be working in the key of C. And before we get started, and if you'd like, you can say hi in the chat. I like seeing people, and I like seeing what people have to say. If you have any questions, you can also turn around and you can say, ask me any questions you'd like in the chat. I'm just getting things ready here. So anyway, there's a link, and you could see the link to the guitar lesson to get the tab for today's lesson. And the link is right down there. It's tinyurl.com / and I think it's tab Toby Walker. Pretty sure that's what it is. And yep, that's what it is, right? The other one too is a donation link, and donate. It's tinyurl.com / donate Toby Walker. And for your donations, I am giving a lot of various different things away. There's going to be, if you go on to that site to pick up your tab, you will see underneath the tab a donation link, but you'll also see what I'm giving away. So for a $15 donation, I'm going to be sending you 2 guitar lessons. They're video instructionals. There's with tab included. I'm going to be teaching Big Road Blues by Tommy Johnson and Candyman, as it was played by Dave Van Ronk. And that's for only $15 that I will send you that for your donation today. Also, I just came out with a brand new set of lessons. I haven't even sent out an email blast about this. It's called Essential Blues and Rags. And there's 5 songs that I teach on this. Plus, I don't just teach you the song, but I teach you how to improvise and how to do a whole lot of other things with the song. Show you solos in the song, so you're not playing the same stuff over and over again. I'm going to be studying in that particular set of lessons. Going to be songs from Robert Johnson, Reverend Gary Davis, Blind Boy Fuller, Mance Lipscomb. And there's a lot of great songs in there that I think that you'll enjoy. So that's for the $20. Plus, you get the other thing. You get the other 2 songs. So it's like 7 songs or so, video lessons that you will receive. Oh, and I forgot, we're going to be doing Muddy Waters. So that's another song that you'll learn from that Essential Blues and Rags. Anyway, so that's it. If you have any questions or anything like that, I can see Paul J is in there, and Mike from Lancaster, rainy Lancaster. Yes, it's raining here in northern New Jersey as well. So yeah, we got lots of that happening. It's kind of crazy times out here. And hope you just pick up the tab. You will see that the tab is going to be available to you. And let me just put this, let's see, get this in here, and we'll get started in a second. And if you have any comments, I can see them again, either in the Facebook, or I'll see them right there I'll see them right there in the chat. So anyway, it's good to see some of a couple of my regulars that have come out. And tonight we're going to be doing a concert. So at any rate, rainy in Albany too. Yeah, Paul. It's raining all over the place. But next week it's supposed to get warmer here in northern New Jersey, and I'm sure in other places. This lesson comes from a tune, basically Bad Luck Blues by Blind Lemon Jefferson, which I'm actually going to be playing in concert tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm just going to play through this right now, and this is going to be on It'll be right here on Facebook, the video, the whole session, and so you'll always go back and you could learn from it. Howard from upstate New York and Florida. Which one are you in? I should hope you're in Florida right now, Howard. Anyway, so I'm gonna let me see, make sure that I'm in tune. I was in tune before, and yep, we're in there. So anyway, here we go, folks. I'm just gonna read it from the tab, and then we're gonna teach it from the tab. Howard's in Florida. Lucky you. So that's what we're going to learn today. Again, like I said, this is the Bad Luck Blues by Blind Lemon Jefferson. Really just keeps going. And he does that over and over again. You know, so here basically what I'm doing is expanding on something like that. And that's what I do teach in my guitar lessons. So we'll take a look if you have the tab. And again, you could always download the tab from that link right up there. Or right down there. There's the tab. I forget which one it is. Anyway, so let's take a look at this. It's going to be finger picked. So I have the very first measure. So I have the two C notes. Then I'm going to grab the G note high and the G note a little bit lower, an octave lower on the first string and third string. Then very quickly I'm going to bring my third finger over to the F sharp and my pinky on the D sharp. I'm going to hit those notes. Then the open third and first. Then C, A, G. So very slowly, it's the first beat, second beat, third beat, fourth beat. Now, as opposed to just straight eighth notes, you know, if you were playing just straight eighth notes, you can really kind of swing it a little bit by going da 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 da. So that swings it a little bit, and that's what you want to do there. Let's take a look now at the second measure. We're just going to take that one little lick that we did before and expand on it. Don't worry, we're going to go somewhere with that. So here we're taking that same F sharp and the D sharp, or G flat and E flat, depending on how you want to look at that. And we're just grabbing, pinching it, and then hitting an open third string, pinching it again, hitting the open first string rather. Then the A, the C, A, G, and then getting that E flat in there, because we're going to be doing something with that. So that second measure, now that's going to take you into the next measure with a cool little lick. So here we're just coming down that, we're going down chromatically from a G down to an F, getting that E flat in there, open E, C, A, G. And then the last measure on that line is just holding down that C chord. Now here my bass is going from the 5th string to the 3rd string, 5th string to the 4th string, and I have my pinky on that high G. So I have, so that whole line is going to sound like this. Now we're going to be going into this little lick, and this is a lick that Blind Lemon Jefferson plays in Bad Luck Blues. And it's a great little lick to do in the key of C when you're in the F chord. So I'm starting it with the F, and the way I do the F is I grab the F chord with the C, A, and F like this, and I grab my thumb and I get that low F note in there. That's kind of important if you're playing this style of music. So I have this bass and 2nd string. Then I'm going to keep my 3rd finger in place. I'm going to get my pinky on the D note. I'm going to pinch those 2 notes. I'm going to move it up. Then I'm going to hit the open 3rd and 1st string. Finally the C, A, G. So we have. Now in the next measure we're going to go. So we have this, that little lick again, bring it back, and go right into a C, F chord. So we have this. And that's just a great little, I mean, with this, in this F shape, you can do that if you want, or all those little moves in here really lend themselves to an F chord in the key of C. So you can just kind of experiment with that. Finally, this is a lick that I learned from a guy in Greenville, Mississippi, Eugene Powell, and I thought it was just a wonderful little lick. Now that's just a great little lick here, and let's take this one a little slower. I'm going to take that 2nd string at the 3rd fret. I'm going to strike it. Then I'm going to bring it down again. Now I'm bending that note, and when you're bending on an acoustic guitar, it's pretty tough, and it's even tougher towards the nut. But what I'm doing is I'm using a couple of fingers to push that string up, not just one, but I'm using 2 fingers to push that string up. Then I bring it down and hit the D note. So I have C. Then I'm going to hit the 4th string. So we have. Now the next little part is going to be a triplet. I'm using my thumb on the 3rd string, my 1st finger on the 2nd, and my middle finger on the 1st string. So I got that ba ba ba. So and then, so now we're bringing it. So this is actually like da 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 da. It's going from a C to a G to a C. And then now we have that C note. Bringing that C note, and this is the last measure on the 2nd line. And then that little is a great little lick, but what's even more fun about that lick is instead of going into a C like this, we're doing leading into an E note on the C, and that's just a great way not only to, to go into a C chord. You don't always have to go to the root. You can go to the E and get the same. And most people, when they would go into a C chord, they would do, or which is perfectly fine, but it is a little bit something different when you're going into the chord and you're not hitting the root note. It just lends itself a different thing. Even with an F chord, if I was going to an F chord, I could go, I could lead into that F, but if I went into the A instead, just a great little way to lead into the particular chord. So that whole second line is going to sound like this. I think right, you got to get that F note in there in that second measure. Okay, so that's the second line. In the third line, this comes also for Blind Lemon Jefferson. It's an interesting way of playing a G chord or a G7 because we're not necessarily playing a G7 chord, but instead we're doing this. That's kind of different, all right? So we start off with the bass in the fourth string, hit the open second string, and then keeping my first finger on the F, I'm going to bring down my second finger on the A note. So I have, now I'm going to pick up that second finger. I'm going to hit the open third string and the first string and double that first string. And then come down on my second finger again. So we have, and then we go right back to this. So we're really making use of that E flat note to the E. And then finally into two C notes. Then we do this little tiny turnaround that Blind Lemon Jefferson would use. That be used as an ending as well. So let's take a look at that third measure in the third line. Starts with a C. Then we're going to take our first finger, put it on a G note, and take our third finger, put it on the E note, which is part of a C chord. And you can use your first and second fingers or your thumb and your first finger to grab this. Then move it back again, and then really get this dissonance with the E flat and the E note. And then, so that whole third line would sound like this. So, and just to review what we have so far, all right, just as a quick little review, let me just refresh this one page for a second. There we go. I'm actually refreshing the Facebook page so I can see if anybody has any comments in there, I can read them. All right. So at any rate, any questions so far, just throw them into the chat. But this is how this whole first part's going to go. That's kind of cool. There's a lot of little ideas in there that you can use when you're finger picking blues in the key of C. Let's take a look now at the second part to this. This next lick comes from Blind Boy Fuller. So now we're getting into a little bit of jazzy sound with the blues, okay? Let's take a look at this one. we're right in that C chord, but we're going to have to take our pinky and stretch it out to that E flat note while we're holding down a C chord. Our bass is going to be back and forth between the 5th and 4th string, like that. So we have the first beat, second beat, pinch the 1st and the 4th string, get your pinky in there, and then pick it up and grab the 5th and 1st string. Then 2nd string, so we have this, the 4th string rather, and end up on the 4th string here. Now I'm going to go into an F6 chord, and what I'm doing with the F6 is just putting my pinky down on the 6th degree of an F chord, which would be the D. And I have this. So here I'm getting the F in the bass, and I'm also getting the A note and the D note together on the 2nd and 3rd string. And come down with the bass. Now I'm going to go into an F sharp diminished chord. So that's an interesting little thing to do here. Let's take a look at this. Now this F sharp diminished chord, you could play it, most people play it like this. But here I'm going to be not playing the A note on the 1st string here, but I'm going to be playing it up here instead. And it gives it a little bit more of a warmer sound. So now I'm going to bar my 1st finger on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string at the 4th fret. I'm going to put my 3rd finger on the C note on the 3rd string and use my 2nd finger to get that A note. And here I'm going to grab, again, like we did with the F chord, the F6 chord, I'm going to grab the 6th, 3rd, and 2nd string, and then my thumb comes down on the 4th string. So we have and now after that, and by the way, when you're going into an F chord, you can always, just before you get back to the C chord, throw in an F sharp diminished. It works really nice. And this diminished chord, you could think of it as, you know, you're in the F chord, so you can think of it, that's the 4 chord in the key of C. So all you're doing is sharping the 4 chord, making it a diminished. And, you know, each note, of course, in the diminished chord is considered the root. So you could look at it that way, like I'm going from an F chord to an F diminished and then back to a C. People like Blind Blake used to do that a lot. You know, they used to do little things like that. The other way you could look at it is just saying, well, it's a C diminished. It is, and you're going to a C chord. So that's another way. You can just play the open. Yeah, good question. You could just play the open A string, but what you're doing by that is you're kind of cheating yourself because you're not learning the form. Because if you ever wanted to do this form in another place, like if you were going, you know, you would kind of like not learning the chord. In this particular case, you absolutely can use the 5th, open 5th string, make it a little easier. But this is a good form to use because it's a movable form, just like this is a movable form. So it's a good one to at least get under your fingers. I hope that answers the question a little bit. So now, after the in that 4th line, we're going to go to the C chord, and now we're going to put in a little C lick. Now, it doesn't necessarily sound so bluesy. I mean, we do have a blues note in there, that B flat, and an E flat. But listen to this. Now this, using a B in there, and technically in the key of C, in a blues scale, minor pentatonic scale, you'd use this, the B flat. But you have to understand where Blind Lemon Jefferson came from. He came from Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth area. And there was a lot of other musicians there, Western players, specifically a lot of, some of them were cowboys. And you'll hear that in a lot of old-timey country music. So who knows, maybe Lemon Jefferson picked that one little lick up. So that whole fourth line now is going to sound like this. So you kind of have to, we're going to C, B flat, A, G, F, D, E flat, E flat, E, C, and then you have to kind of shift that third finger. Now, what I'm doing with my right hand is I'm doing a technique that that Gary Davis used to use, and I'm sure a lot of other guitarists use it when they're finger picking, is my thumb is coming down on the downbeats when I'm doing this single string thing, and my finger's coming up on the upbeats. So I have this down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's a technique that you may want to work with to get down with your fingers and your thumb. At any rate, that's the fourth line. All right, into the fifth line. Now this is going to be interesting. We're going to do a little lick up here, and this is against an F chord. And you remember when we were doing in the first part, we were doing this little lick against a C chord, right? Well, we can do the same lick up here against an F chord. And we're going to be doing this. This is a very common Blind Lemon Jefferson lick. I got my first finger on the C and my third finger on the A. And I'm going to be grabbing the two strings. You could do it with your thumb and your first finger, or your first and second finger, or you can just kind of strum down on it. But I'm getting those two notes, then I'm adding my pinky onto the D, or I'm going to the D and then back to the C. Then I'm stretching out to get the E flat, D, C. Now this is a really cool little idea that you can use, because you can use the same idea. It's not in the tab, but you can use the same idea here against that F chord. And because it's a movable form, you could use it against the G chord. You can move it anywhere, really. There's the same lick against the G. So that should open up some possibilities, you know, when you're playing, and again with the G chord or any chord, really, to use that little lick. And it's interesting because Lemon Jefferson, when he used this little lick, well, if he just played it straight, it sounds a little like rock and roll, okay? How the music evolves, but that's just an interesting little idea. Let's go into the next line now, the next measure. Now this is a great little lick against the F chord. We have the F, the C, and then a little triplet. I'm going to take that E flat note and I'm going to pull it off to the D, and then C, A. Now, again, I'm using an alternate thumb and first finger, or sometimes I just may use my thumb. Uh, but you'll get a little bit more mileage out of you, again, using your thumb and your first finger to do that little lick. So all together, get that sound in there. It's a great little sound. Now, this next lick comes right out of Gary Davis playing. So here we're in the C chord, and just like we did before when we came out of an F chord in the first part, we did this C lick to a G lick, back to a C lick. Well, here's just another way of G to C. So let's take a look at this one. We're going to take our third finger and we're going to slide it from the 3rd fret on the 1st string up to the 5th fret very quickly, like a grace note. That puts us in the 3rd position to grab this G, and then you're going to come over and grab the C note on the 3rd string. Now I'm going to let go of those 2 notes, hit the E flat, hit the E, and then C, A, G. Now I'm going to use my 2nd finger to hit the G note here, and then my 3rd and my pinky to get the F and the D, making it a G7 chord, and then finally we get into the C. And then there's a little lead up. I'm going to lead into the next line. So that whole 5th line here is. And then leading into the G. So before we take in this last line again, I do appreciate if you could give any type of a donation you can. If you go to that donate link, you don't have to give $15 or $20. You can give $5 or whatever you think this lesson may be worth. But like I said, I'm giving things back. So for $15, I'm going to be giving you 2 separate lessons, guitar lessons, with video instructional that you can download the videos or stream them with the tab. We're doing Big Road Blues by Tommy Johnson, and I'm also teaching Dave Van Ronk's way of playing Candyman. And again, with those 2 lessons, it's not just I just show you the song. All right, I show you ways to expand on the song. It's the same thing with Candyman. Add another $5. I just came out with this brand new set of lessons, another 5 songs. It's called Essential Blues and Rags. Haven't even officially released it yet. And there's songs from Reverend Gary Davis, Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, Blind Boy Fuller, and Mance Lipscomb from Texas. So that's that. But the big thing that I like to push is I have a website. It's called the Premier Membership Site. And everything I've ever produced is on that site. Every video lesson, tablature, you name it, it's all on that site. There's over close to 500 instructional videos on there, plus tips for guitar players and all kinds of cool stuff. Concert footage, I put that all up there. And I usually charge $125 for a year's access. But right here on Facebook and my Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, you can get that by donating $60. So that's less than half the price. And you'll have a full year's access to all of these guitar lessons. Just putting that out there if you really feel generous. All right, so let's take a look now at the last line of this tune. It's just one of the greatest little licks. So taking it from the measure before, we have this leading into a G note. Now I'm going to hit the B and the D. So we're actually playing a little triad there, a G triad. But now E, F, F sharp, G. So we have a little chromatic movement. Then back to the C. I'm sorry, right after we do that, we get the high A. And that's going to take us into the next measure. Then so here we have the A, and then coming into the G, E flat, E, back to that C, A, and G we've been doing. And then we have this E flat, E, and finally back to the C. So all together, and finally we're going to play this little turnaround. So let's take a look at that. We have the low G here, and we have the open third string here. Now this is a little bit of counterpoint. We have one line doing this, and another line doing this. And we put these together, get my third finger on the F sharp and the open A, and move that third finger back to an F, and I get the B note, and then finally the C and the E. And the last little bit, we have this. So let's take a look at that very last measure. Getting a little bit of an F chord there and a piece of the C7 chord. So we have that little lick in there that's really kind of fun. So that last line all together. There we go. So that's just a nice little way of ending something in the key of C. Now, if you didn't want to end the song, if you wanted to do, say, another bar of a C chord, you can use that same little, and instead of going like this, you can go back to a G chord. And that little G7 chord takes you right back into the beginning, into a C. So we have that. Or we can do that. Either way, we're getting back into a G chord, so that you can use that as a turnaround. You can also use that as an introduction to the song. So those little turnarounds can have three different uses. They could be a turnaround in the middle of the song to bring it back. They can be an ending, leave it like that, or they can be an introduction to the intro to the song. So the more turnarounds you know, the more fun you're going to have, really. The other thing I want to mention too is you can always go to my website, but on the website I have I'm going to be doing a virtual guitar workshop, and that's going to be on April 3rd, Saturday, April 3rd. It's going to be 90 minutes. You can tape the entire session. You'll be given tablature for the session, and there's two classes I'm going to be teaching. One is called Hot Licks and Tricks. A whole bunch of cool little things similar to what we're doing here. And the other one is called the Folk Blues, where we're actually going to be learning songs that were also part of the folk era, but they had blues elements in it, like Roberta, for instance, an old traditional tune. So you have that. You definitely have that as well. We got Daniel Riley, awesome shirt, Toby. Yeah, it's my birthday shirt actually. A very early birthday present. And Dan's a premier member. He says it's a deep dive, people. Well worth it. $60 is a steal. I think it's a good deal for $60. Like I said, you're going to have tons and tons of guitar lessons. Where you're going to find lessons, whole video lessons, whole sets of lessons for like less than 35 cents a day. So that's a good deal. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. Tonight at my studio, I'm going to be doing a concert from 7 p.m. at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That concert will also be here up on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch channels. So you can go to any of those, and you can see me playing a whole bunch of songs. So I hope you can all come. I want to thank you all for at least joining me here. Sue, huge deal. Yes, for $60. Thanks, Sue. And Charles, birthday suit. Yes, this could be considered my birthday suit. I don't know where you people get it. Anyway, so at any rate, so I hope you can join me for the concert. But I want to thank you all for, I hope you enjoyed the guitar lesson. I love doing this stuff. I really, really love doing this stuff a whole lot. So, okay, folks, Mike, you're very welcome. I'm glad that you came in. I'm glad everybody, Paul J came in, Mike came in, Howard came in. A lot of people that sort of are regulars now. And you're very welcome, Sue. Madam X-Wing, Star Wars. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you tonight for the concert. I want to thank you all again for coming by. So take care, folks, and